On Monday mornings in southeast Nigeria, the silence is unnatural. The sun still rises, but it rises over streets that do not answer it. Roads that once carried ambition now carry echoes. Markets that fed cities sit behind padlocks, their iron gates cold to the touch. In places like Onitsha, Aba, Nnewi, Owerri, Abakaliki, and Enugu, Mondays no longer announce beginnings. They announce restraint, not by law, not by tradition, but by fear. This documentary is not about politics alone. It is about how fear reorganized daily life, how protest became paralysis, and how an entire region learned to stop moving. To understand the weight of the sit-at-home, one must first understand what movement means in the Southeast. This is a region built on trade, not inherited wealth, not oil royalties, but motion, negotiation, risk, the daily decision to leave home and create value from nothing. Markets here are not commercial conveniences, they are social institutions. Onitsha Main Market, one of the largest open-air markets in West Africa, once processed billions of naira in goods weekly. Ariaria Market in Aba functioned like a decentralized factory system, producing shoes, clothes, bags, and metal works that traveled across Africa. Mondays were critical. They were days for new stock, days for fresh negotiations, days when transport unions, wholesalers, retailers, and apprentices aligned their weekly rhythm. A single lost market day could destabilize a family's income. 2 could ruin a small business. So when Mondays began to disappear, it was not a cultural shift, it was an economic shock. The Monday sit-at-home did not emerge in a vacuum. Its roots stretch back to Nigeria's unresolved past. The Nigerian Civil War officially ended in January 1970, but its emotional and structural consequences lingered in the Southeast for decades.
Landing troops in the Delta Creek areas is one thing.
The policy of no victor, no vanquished promised reintegration. Yet many Igbos experienced something different in practice. Abandoned properties, weakened political influence, and delayed infrastructure development. Over time, grievances accumulated quietly. A sense of exclusion hardened into generational memory. Parents passed stories to children. Children grew into adults with unanswered questions about belonging, representation, and equity in the Nigerian project. These feelings did not automatically translate into separatism. Many Igbos thrived across Nigeria, building businesses and integrating economically. But prosperity did not erase political frustration. It only muted it. In the early 2010s, a new voice rose into this unresolved emotional space. Nnamdi Kanu did not invent Igbo grievances. He articulated them with urgency, anger, and clarity. Through Radio Biafra, he framed historical wounds as ongoing injustice. His rhetoric was unapologetic, often confrontational, and deeply emotional. For many young people in the Southeast and diaspora, his voice resonated powerfully. He named their anger. He validated their frustration. He offered a clear enemy and a clear identity. The indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, transformed from a fringe movement into a mass mobilization. Rallies grew larger, symbols became widespread. The Nigerian state took notice. Confrontation became inevitable. Nnamdi Kanu's arrests, releases, rearrests, and eventual detention marked critical inflection points. Each arrest strengthened his symbolic power among supporters. Each court appearance became a political moment rather than a legal one. Each delay deepened mistrust in state institutions. What might have remained a political agitation began hardening into something more volatile. Protests met security crackdowns. Crackdowns bred resentment. Resentment radicalized language. By the time Nnamdi Kanu was detained again and his trial prolonged, patience had thinned across the region. Then came the sit-at-home. Initially, the sit-at-home was framed as a non-violent protest tactic. The logic was simple. If the Southeast shuts down economically, the country will notice. If people stay home peacefully, the message will be impossible to ignore. In its earliest days, compliance was driven largely by sympathy and solidarity. Many saw it as a moral protest, a symbolic withdrawal of participation from a system they felt excluded them. But symbols, once introduced into tense environments, rarely remain symbolic for long. Over time, the sit-at-home evolved. Violence crept in. Reports emerged of attacks on those who defied the order. Vehicles were burned, shops vandalized, people injured, and in some cases killed. Whether these acts were carried out by IPOB affiliates, criminal opportunists, or third-party provocateurs became increasingly unclear. What was clear was this: people were no longer staying home because they believed. They were staying home because they were afraid. Fear does not negotiate. Fear obeys. Even when IPOB leadership announced the suspension of weekly sit-at-home orders, the streets did not listen. The fear had outgrown its origin. The economic cost of the Monday sit-at-home is staggering, though difficult to quantify precisely. Every closed market represents lost revenue not just for traders, but for transporters, loaders, food sellers, security guards, and apprentices. Schools cancel classes. Hospitals operate skeletal services. Transport routes shut down. Interstate commerce reroutes away from the Southeast on Mondays. Small businesses suffer disproportionately. Unlike large corporations, they have no buffers, no reserves, no insurance against fear. An economy built on daily movement cannot survive prolonged stillness. Yet the stillness continues. Faced with prolonged economic paralysis, the Nigerian state responded primarily through security measures. Military checkpoints multiplied. Police patrols intensified. Public statements warned citizens to resume normal activities. But fear does not dissolve at gunpoint. Instead, the presence of security forces sometimes reinforced anxiety, turning Mondays into days of tension rather than relief. The message from government was authority. The message on the streets was uncertainty. In Anambra State, the crisis reached a new stage under Governor Chukwuma Soludo. Soludo, an economist by training, publicly framed the sit-at-home as an economic self-sabotage.
Yes. And the rules are that markets are open Monday to Saturday. If you are not prepared to open your shops Monday to Saturday, then leave Anambra, go to elsewhere. Period. Okay? So, this market will be shut down for the remainder of this week. It will not be open tomorrow. It will not be open on Wednesday. It will not be open on Thursday. It will not be open on Friday. It will open again on Monday. And if we come on Monday, you want what?
His administration warned traders that markets would be shut if they continued to observe the order. In some cases, markets were indeed closed by the government, not agitators. This created a painful paradox. Traders who stayed home out of fear faced government sanctions. Traders who opened faced threats from unknown enforcers. Caught between the hammer and the anvil, many chose the safest option: absence. Authority asserted itself. Fear remained unmoved. Today, the Monday sit-at-home exists in a strange limbo. It is no longer clearly commanded by a single authority. It is no longer clearly enforced by a single group. It survives because no one has successfully dismantled the fear sustaining it. Ordinary people suffer the most. Mothers fear sending children to school. Drivers fear checkpoints and ambushes. Traders fear opening shops. This is not rebellion. It is survival behavior. One of the most dangerous aspects of the current situation is narrative fragmentation. IPOB statements contradict on-ground realities. Government assurances clash with lived experiences. Social media amplifies fear faster than facts. In this vacuum, criminal elements thrive. When no single voice commands legitimacy, violence fills the silence. Years of enforcement have not ended the sit-at-home. Arrests have not reopened markets. Troop deployments have not restored confidence. Threats have not rebuilt trust. This suggests a hard truth. The problem is not purely a security issue. It is a political one, and political problems demand political solutions. For many in the southeast, Nnamdi Kanu's continued detention has become a symbol of unresolved dialogue. This documentary does not argue sainthood. It does not ignore inflammatory rhetoric. It does not deny complexity. It argues strategy. Supporters believe that releasing Kanu could re-centralize authority, allow him to call off sit-at-home with legitimacy, and reopen structured dialogue between the state and aggrieved populations. History offers precedents. Conflicts de-escalate when symbolic figures are transformed from prisoners into negotiators. Continued detention, by contrast, sustains grievance. Dialogue does not mean surrender. It means acknowledging that force alone has limits. That silence enforced by fear is not stability. That economic paralysis weakens everyone. Releasing Nnamdi Kanu could be the first step toward dismantling the fear architecture that sustains the sit-at-home. Not the last step, but the first. Peace would be visible. Markets reopening fully. Schools resuming without anxiety. Mondays regaining their meaning as beginnings, not warnings. It would not erase history, but it would stop history from repeating itself weekly. The quiet of Monday mornings in the southeast is not calm. It is unresolved conflict, echoing through empty streets. Until dialogue replaces detention, until trust replaces fear, until movement returns, Mondays will remain reminders, not of peace, but of a region waiting to breathe again.